All right, live action. We are live here on Facebook. So often we've been doing these Facebook Lives, and today with Matthew Curcio, our good friend and longtime REMAX Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame, much like Jason Witten, which I know nobody in Philadelphia cares about, who just retired from the Dallas Cowboys. But Hall of Famer has decided to join us at eXp Realty. Man, first of all, I just wanted to say it's a privilege to be partners with you, Mr. Curcio, after all this time of working together.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Learning from you guys for years and years, man. So it's been a long journey here learning about this company, but I'm definitely pumped up now. So,
right.
Already got it behind us. A reminder.
Say that again?
This is already up behind us. Every day we get to look at it.
That's right. So I want to share with anybody who's watching. We're going to share with you, for those of you who are not familiar with eXp, or maybe you haven't heard of it, or not, you're just not familiar exactly with the business model. We're going to really share with you some things that you really need to hear. I think that this company is growing like a weed. They've doubled in the last 6 months. I want to say just crossed over 10,000 agents officially a couple of weeks ago, and some of the top real estate agents in the country. And top producing agents around the country are joining eXp. So if you're listening in, we're going to share with you what exactly the reason for that is. And I'm really excited, Matt, to hear your story because, I'm not sure when you were first introduced to it, but obviously, we've known each other a long time. And you've been, a part of our coaching and part of NAEA. And been looking at this and looking at it very closely and evaluating whether it was a good decision for you. So, how did we get to this point from, you being a 17-year veteran at REMAX, in the Hall of Fame, to making a decision to move to a cloud-based real estate brokerage and what were, how did we get to this point?
I guess I started in 2001 as a team member when it wasn't team. So we just called it a partnership, buddy of mine. And, after about a year, I had gotten into Floyd Wickman's training. So the original, every old timer knows who he is. Dialing for dollars.
Daddy Floyd.
Sweat hogs.
Yeah, man. So sweat hog through and through. But, basically, once I got into the coaching, I remember I had to earn my way into his trip to Vegas. And I sold $5 million that next year after I did my Sweat Hogs class. And it might have been 4.9, but the cutoff was 5 million. So I went anyway. And I remember being like 23 in Vegas with a bunch of people that were much older than me. But after that, man, I just stayed on the coaching thing and, trainer after trainer, went to a lot of different events around the country, with REMAX, a lot, and then with different trainers as well. And then I guess in around 2009, maybe 2008, I meant to pull down the books with the original Kinder Reese stuff. But I decided after enough coaching that it was time to, build a team. You guys had the best roadmap that I had ever seen. And, I've been, with you guys and lucky enough to be in the mastermind group over the last few years. And, I constantly put myself in the learning environment with everybody. So, because in our little towns, we can be a big fish, little pond. And I always, every time I went to a conference, that's where it was like, oh, this guy's selling 200 homes or, 150. And I was an individual selling around 40 or 50, and then I just constantly wanted to grow. So, as my career got bigger and bigger, we look for opportunities. And, we're now evolving. I say we, meaning we're like similar aged. So we're around 40. And I feel like that's when a lot of people turn the switch from salesperson to owners. And I even see it around here. There's a lot of people buying different brokerages that, the brokers are phasing their way out that are in their 60s. So looking at that, I've been looking for opportunities and really haven't seen much. So once I saw this, actually it was Al's, I saw a post. I was on my way to a bank-owned listing. I saw a post from Al, and it said eXp on it. And I remember I had to go do photos for it or something. I stopped in my car, put on, I Googled it first, found a YouTube video about eXp and just started playing while I went and did my stuff. And then that, that's really what made me learn about it. So I'd watched within that first, I guess, hour and a half, I had already consumed, 3 different people's opinions and webinars on it. So
binge watching, it's an early symptom of being introduced to eXp.
Yeah. So I was excited from there. I just wanted to learn more because it sounded interesting, and but I knew if Al was doing something, there was more in depth things that I didn't see, and I had to learn about it. So I started picking it apart.
It's funny, Matt. You just said you started picking it apart.
Yep.
So that's exactly what I did. I actually spent 60 days trying to say, no, there's something. This can't. Yeah, no, this ain't right. But what about this? Oh, okay. And then, all right, no, they got that check. There's a check in that box. But what about this? And I mean, just that entire process. I did the same thing. It was pretty incredible. My last thing that I asked was this guy right here, Jay Kinder. I'm like, all right, I can't poke any holes in it. How about you?
Yeah.
And so I passed the baton over to him and drove him nuts for a little while.
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting. And I think we're fortunate. To be able to bounce those kind of ideas off of each other, just being in mastermind groups and having a lot of respect for one another and what we're all trying to, to do individually. And I think we've always said, and I say it almost every one of these is like, how would we put our fires together and make one big fire? Was something that was always appealing to me is working side by side with people like you. And I'm fortunate and blessed that eXp came along because it really is what created that opportunity for all of us. And, you said something, Matt, that I think is very telling for a lot of real estate professionals. And you said, before we even went live, you said, I spent the last 17 years doing this and the next 10 years are really important. And I think for a lot of real estate agents that have been in the business a long time and they haven't really created, an exit strategy or a retirement plan that's really sufficient, the next 10 years are going to be very important. And that's something that I think everyone should be, if for no other reason, you should be looking at this. I think there's a lot more things that we're going to get into and your reasons why, and your reasons why, and you made the move. But I think that, this opens up an opportunity for a lot of people to really, either, get off to a good start if you're fortunate enough to just now be getting into real estate, or if you're, been in real estate a while and you're really looking at, being strategic about the next 10 years and making sure you're being in the right place, that, you being at eXp, especially in your local market, and being able to help agents grow and make better decisions and help them with their real estate business, but also being able to be a part of this great company and all of the different things that this business model brings to the table.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was trying to
help them with the real estate business, but also being able to be a part.
Sorry. As Facebook jumped on my other screen there. What's it called? No, I mean, again, it's just, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but continuously looking for that opportunity and just having, we know what they are, right? The different brokerages, you buy a brokerage, you run a big team or a small team, and net profit is high and all that stuff. But, once I saw it, again, you can't unsee it, right?
I'm telling you.
I said that.
Matt,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to ask a quick question. And it was really just did you have any concerns or fears, as far as just leaving the REMAX brand, being that it is a big brand? I was right alongside with you. I don't know if I earned the Hall of Fame. I earned one of those awards when I was with REMAX, and I had a great run. It's a great company. But I didn't go, to eXp. I actually just went independent and went straight Stasek brand. And one of the concerns I had was, was this going to affect my business as far as, that brand recognition piece. And I would lean into, the REMAX brand when I was on a listing appointment. For me, what happened in 2013, I went independent. We doubled our business over the next, 4 years after leaving. So for me, in our market, we didn't, at least I don't feel like we felt anything. Did you feel any of those concerns when, you were considering, oh, wow, this is a brand that we really don't know much about,
Yeah. That was, that's definitely something to consider, but then I looked at, the last 5 years of business, and, as I've grown, you kind of look at it and say, well, how much of this is the brand? And, year after year, it gets to me, and I believe it's most agents, it becomes less about the brand, right? Because as you become a bigger agent, people know you, and they're hiring me. They're not hiring the brand behind me. Now, we're powered by the brand as well. And, I feel this brand is definitely using the top tools, technologies for every agent. I look at some of the things, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but I mean, just the tools that it's using is, I believe, even better than any of the brands that I know are using. What tools all the other brands are using.
Right. Well, we talk about this all the time. As an agent, there's really no brand that's out there. We do the comparison. If you were, if I ask you what's the difference between a Ritz-Carlton and a Motel 6, every consumer can tell you the difference without having to go very deep into that conversation. But if I ask you the difference between a Coldwell Banker and a Century 21 or a REMAX or whatever it may be, the consumer doesn't really know the difference in those brands because there's no brand experience that's being managed by the company. So, the agent is who is managing the customer experience. And if you do a good job with your customers, your clients are going to come with you wherever you go in your business. And that's been our experience over and over and over and over again. And anyone that leans too much on the company is the threat is, you could have another REMAX agent you're competing against. And if you're only using that as your leverage to try to win a listing, you're leaving it up to not within your control. And I think that's something that we obviously can help people with as far as making sure they're positioned as the expert and being chosen as for the reason why someone's doing business with you, not the company that you work for. So not to say anything about, I think there's a lot of great benefits that eXp adds to the table, but I think it is up to the agent. And eXp is an agent-centric company, so I know that they get that it is not the agent.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I said, it's some of the top technologies. Once I saw it, I was like, man, this is stuff we've been paying for years, and they figured it out.
Right.
That's what they need. And again, the other brands they're not into it yet. But
so what you went something like 7 months ago, you've been looking at it and it took you a little while to kind of make the decision. What was the reason, that it took you so long, or what had to change in order for you to make the decision to make the move?
Few things actually. Obviously, I had to learn about it. I've been trained over the last, let's say 15 out of the 18 or whatever years I've been doing this. Basically, I needed to learn about cloud brokerage. I'm paperless and all that stuff. We are as a team, but I wanted to learn more about that, running an actual company out of that. And obviously I had some disagreements. I said, man, so the challenges were cloud brokerage. You get space, the space at a Regis, which is what they promote. That's great in our area. We're only 20 minutes from it. It was really nice office space. So I went up there and checked that out a few months back. So I was concerned about my space, though, just because I, in all the trainings where we say, be a team, go into the office and all that kind of stuff, that was kind of important to me for myself, for my group. But as I thought about it more and more and had more discussions with different agents and watched my office closely and the successful agents that were in my office, and they weren't in the office, So we always talk, about wanting to go to an office, or having office space. And once I thought about it more and more, it became more clear that, office space shouldn't be a major concern. And then once I saw the technology of the eXp world, I was like, this crazy, to actually have a office in the world. So we're starting next week. We're going to hold our meetings in the private rooms in the world, because awesome. They're running nonstop. So, so I guess that was a big challenge, the working from home potentially. But then we got around that, right? Because as I saw more people having branch offices, we learned that eXp was open to it. So, we're excited to be able to open a branch office. And then, I watched a lot of businesses, right, try to figure out how to get out of this business, and what do you have? Here I am, 17 years in, and, I'm leaving one company. Let's say I stopped and went to some other career. What do I have coming from this? The answer is nothing, but with eXp, that's not the case, because you build something that you can take with you, and I don't want to spend the next 10 years are so important to me that, I want to have something, and I don't want to have, a small brand that I just turn around and sell for 1 to 3 times, profits, or, my team and my individual book of business that I get referral fees for, and that's what most people hope to exit this business with. I saw this model, and, the revenue share opportunity is truly amazing. And, outside of that, the stock, the icon agent thing, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that just blew me away.
Yeah, I started laughing when you were talking about the office space, and the reason I was laughing is because we have a branch office as well, and we opened up. It's just a nice office space. I actually run appointments today out of it as well, and we're almost already out of space, and it was double the space that I had. At the previous thing. But the funny thing that made me laugh was we do a monthly business meeting actually in the office. All of our other huddles are done in the cloud every morning. We utilize the cloud for our morning huddle, which is we've been doing for years. And we literally ran out of space in our training room, which I looked at and thought, oh my God, this thing's huge. We'll never fill this up. It was literally, we couldn't fit another chair in there for yesterday's training thing that we did, and we made a decision that we actually have to. We're going to have to just go rent a room, for our meetings, because our agent count is growing so fast. So it made me laugh, because I know that you've been working on that office for a while. Hopefully you didn't sign a long lease. You might need a bigger. You might need a bigger one. I don't know.
And if I think this is correct, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but this is the first eXp branch office that was approved in South Jersey, correct?
In New Jersey.
All of New Jersey. Okay, so that's a big deal, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's very cool. So so obviously, and again, just to be clear, so people understand, the business model, eXp is one big publicly traded company that does not have to have office space in every marketplace. They've taken the hundreds of millions of dollars that are that is involved in having offices in a typical franchise type model, and they've reinvested that money into better technology for the agents, better marketing and better tools, a revenue share program that is an incredible opportunity for just for you helping grow the company. And also, it being publicly traded, there's several opportunities for you to earn, equity in the company as an owner. So that's why it's called an agent-owned cloud brokerage. So very, very cool business model for sure. Nothing I've ever seen that's quite like it. So, what did you see when you looked at eXp this time, and what got you to make the jump?
Well, first, they were initially against the opportunity of a branch office. So that was a little, concerning for me because I knew that I needed to go somewhere to work every day. So once we got past that roadblock, just sitting and really thinking about my future and exit strategy. The bottom line is the exit strategy. And, I guess, if I had been an agent, in this model 10 years ago, or let's say for the next 10 years, the Icon Agent, program, the company gives you back your cap money in company stock. Whether the, growth of the company stock goes up or down, doesn't matter. They give you back, is it 16,000 now?
Yeah, if you do, and it's not 20 transactions, it's basically you're paying, after you cap, you pay, when you pay your $5,000 in fees and transaction fees whatsoever, what have you, you then are awarded $16,000 of stock back in EXPI stock. And $12,000 of that is of course, vested over 3 years, and 4,000 of that is not. So it's a pretty darn good program.
And hey, Matt, for those that want to see a more detailed breakdown of all of this, we've done a webinar that you can send them to. What is the link? And I'll post it up here so people can go to it.
It's Matt Says, and then Matt Says, what's the URL? The ending.
Okay.
The new ending is let me see here. Hold on.
Okay, so Matt Says dot GCI multiplier, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all can keep going. I just wanted to type that.
Yeah, so I guess so what I was getting at was the 10-year thing, right? So it is 17 years later, let's say I wouldn't have been an Icon agent for the first five years as an individual agent. Since then, I would have been, I would have had 10 years, so over $150,000 of company stock awarded to me. And my plan is to do that now. And I look back, constantly and said, all right, well, the future says that I can have that ready for me, and that's something given back from a brokerage. And I don't know any brokerages that are doing that.
Yeah.
Next, rev share opportunity. We'll discuss that a little bit, I guess. You guys know a bit more than I do on the calculations, but.
So I've known you for a long time, Matt. And it's been a blast, learning with you and examining each other's businesses. But I can't help but remember, I'm not sure exactly the date in October, but it was right after our mastermind, and you and I shared a cab back to the airport together.
Yeah.
You remember that ride?
Yeah.
Man, I've never seen a look in your eyes like so focused. I mean, you were like unbreakable amount of focus. Like, talk about when you see it, you don't unsee it. And that was back in October.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a trip all the way up and until that point. And I know that it's because of some of the challenges we had to work through with getting you up and running, because you had to have a place to operate out of. And with New Jersey, I know that the address was in of the brokerage was in a place that probably wouldn't have served you, because you couldn't have used the address unless you actually got approved. But I just remember that. I'll never forget that ride from somewhere. It was the hotel in Dallas. We were at the Dallas Cowboys training thing. That's where we stayed, all the way to the airport. And man, you had an unbreakable, like the look on your face I just never seen before. It was,
that's because he was in the house of greatness.
Is that what that was?
I landed in the city of champions, so that's why.
Right there, baby.
Yeah.
Yep. World champions.
Yeah. But now it was, again, looking at the exits and all that, the exit strategies, it just comes down to, what do you have when you're done? And I don't want to spend the next 10 years building, a small, even if I built my own brand, seeing this, and I talked to some people who are building their own brands, and, I ask them what's, and then I look at the rev share and I say, are you making X amount per agent? And the answer is no. So why take on the space, the risk, and all that stuff when there's a company out there that'll do all that stuff without the risk, and they'll take care of all the details. And I was definitely looking hard at it. So from that point forward.
Right. So what would you tell? So obviously you're definitely a mover and a shaker. You're definitely well known in your marketplace. And I know that, almost in every conversation that we have on these Facebook Lives, there's this new kind of found feeling about how you can really help agents grow their business and really kind of unlocking the vault, so to speak, to what you've done to be successful and helping other agents grow within the marketplace. That doesn't generally happen, at the old brokerage. So is there any newfound, approach that you have now that, you're in this business model where you're actually being rewarded for helping other agents grow their business, and when they join you at eXp? What are some of the thoughts that you've gone through or how you've maybe changed in terms of the way you think about, helping other agents grow their business?
Well, obviously being the cloud-based and going to conferences for years, I don't get to see my friends that often, but they randomly will send me a message. Hey, you mentioned this last time we spoke, or I see you're coaching with this one, or, what do you do for this website, or what's working best? Man, in the cloud, we're all there. I don't have to fly somewhere to be with somebody from 200, 300, 500 miles away.
Right.
I can help individuals, here at my company, and the revenue share, outside of just being their coach, you're getting something back for that, and we always ran into in Mastermind over and over again is the roadblocks that we hit as team leaders. We lose people because we train them up and then we lose them. Well, this has a fix for that.
Right.
And I'm just excited to help agents sell real estate again, train agents, and they don't have to be on my team.
Right.
But if they're, there's a benefit for us to help this company grow. I didn't say it earlier. What was one of the big things that made me make the move or made me open my eyes and realize this thing was going to be big. I think it went from somewhere in the 3,000 to 4,000 agent count in September-ish, right? Is it? I think they went to 6,000 or 7,000 by the end of the year,
right?
And it jumped up to 10. And then I saw Gary Keller mention this company, who with 150 plus thousand agents shouldn't have his eyes on a company with 6,000 to 8,000 agents. But he mentioned it more than 15 times in his opening session at his annual event. And then I guess I meant to send it to you guys, but I don't know that I did. REMAX published their annual, numbers where they show the, brokers who sold what. And, I saw eXp on it. And I said, man, these guys, both these giant companies see this as a threat. Otherwise, they wouldn't be publishing things, yet.
Right.
So that made it real for me. I said, all right, now it's a threat, and it's only going, again, it's the fastest growing company in the U.S., right? Fastest growing real estate brand. More than 250 people a week are joining this brand. So
I'm not aware of another company that's bringing them on that fast.
No.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Think about that for a minute. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So I could you back up, and you had mentioned something about seeing eXp with was it a REMAX put their report out, or what was it specifically? Enlighten me.
They have a REMAX versus the industry. So they show sales per agent where, and they show their number one categories. And then, again, I've never seen it with any small brand. It's usually REMAX, Coldwell Banker, and all the big guys, and they put their sales per agent, their annual sales, total volume. And then, I saw the eXp brand on it, and I was like, wow, it's a threat with, again, less, 10,000 agents. And there's a threat.
No
So you bring up you opened up a box.
Oh,
we could go. I think we're gonna go. That's what I think. I think we're gonna go.
George Huntoon is clowning you, by the way, Al.
Yeah.
You're not dressed up like Matt Curcio.
I know.
I dressed up purposely since he's so close to Philadelphia and he's a Philadelphia fan.
So just so you know, George, I had my suit on yesterday, and today's Friday, and it's Angelo's Pizza Day for me, and I just don't walk in there in a suit. This is my Friday get up.
Right.
But you had mentioned the REMAX versus the industry. That was that's a big thing that when I was a REMAX agent, I would sit in the meetings, and I'm sure all the brands do this, except ours. And I'll get to that in a minute. Where they'll do a comparison and look at how many homes. Our average agent sells X amount of homes more than KW and this and that. And there was a lot of disrespect for the competing brokers in our market. Okay. And this is no cut on my old broker. He's a great man. I love them actually. They were some of the best broker owners I've ever worked for. But there was always this, look at us, look at this. And then I watched what I saw, and I saw nobody being recruited to REMAX. There were no big agents coming aboard. There were no agents, period, let alone big agents joining. I was getting to a point where I was like top number, I was at a point where I was, maybe the top one or I may not have been the number one agent in that company yet, but I was really close. And I'm like, where's the competition? Like there was nobody coming, but all these agents were flocking away, and they were going to Keller Williams. And I'm sitting there listening to meeting after meeting about we're great, and it was almost like Keller Williams. I had a lot of friends that were Keller Williams agents. They were great agents, but what I saw was Keller Williams just blow right by REMAX in our market, and where it used to be. Keller, who and REMAX's value proposition just could not keep up, at least in Cleveland. That's where the agents were going. And I was like, man, there's a lot of great agents at Keller. There's a lot of great agents at REMAX. I mean, there's agents everywhere. I just didn't buy into the whole broker bashing thing that was going on. And it kind of bothered me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had friends in all these different brands, and I'm sitting here trying to listen to a guy tell me that, you're better because you're flying a balloon on your sign. I just didn't buy it. And then I wrote down, so we, our biggest competitor, let's just say it, it's been brought to my attention that there's actually a slideshow presentation that they're training their team leaders on how to combat the eXp movement. How to stop the train. And let me tell you, if you're listening to this right, up in the train, there ain't no stopping the train with a slideshow presentation. That ain't gonna do it. And you know what else isn't gonna do it? Talking about us all the time.
Yeah.
And like I just hear BS like coming out of like, you should have heard what this. They don't even know what they don't know. I had a colorful conversation yesterday with a leader who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, but the bashing is just and to be honest with you, since we all are realtors, that's against the code of ethics, to bash other, but I just see it, and it's just it's funny to me. But when you're in the cloud, when you're in workplace, which has been amazing. I mean, when we rolled out this workplace, it's just really like blowing my mind on how cool it is. Facebook Workplace, you don't see any of that. There's zero bashing of other brokers by this company. So I'm proud to be associated with these people. These people in this company are amazing. So, yeah, I had something to say about that. Sorry about that.
No, that's good, man.
Passionate, yeah.
That's actually another thing, as over the last few months, I just watched, especially the last, I want to say 45 days, man, I watched some of the biggest team leaders, I mean, Jeff Cook handed the keys to the kingdom, and I know there a lot of people are just handing the keys in and saying this is a better way.
Right.
And when you see that from some really smart people, I definitely, was definitely sold on it.
Right. No doubt about that. So yeah, so here's what I would suggest. Anybody who's watching this, you want to learn more, watch the webinar. You can go to it. I think it was on the screen. You can actually rewind this and go back and watch it, or you can. It's down in the comments. I made a comment where you can just click on the link and watch the video. It'll give you a lot more information. I would suggest reaching out to Matt. I think those conversations are always very helpful. And when you have questions, reach out to Matt, and he can help you with those. Any questions that you have, especially there. Locally, or if you just know Matt and his influence and you really like him and want to get more information, talk to him and get to know what his reasons were and learn from him and learn what you can be doing here at eXp with us. We definitely are having fun. There's no question about that. And we're all selling a bunch of real estate. So if you like having fun, you like selling a bunch of real estate, and you want to be known and you want to be a part of the fastest growing company in North America, then reach out to Matt, let him know, and we'll talk to you about how that's going to look and the big opportunity for you.
Yeah, and just one more thing, Jay. It doesn't have to be just people from my area.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. We can help people everywhere, learn about this company.
Right.
And I know people all over the U.S. and other countries as well. If you want to sit down and actually think about what you're going to have in 10 years and have a conversation about it, pick up the phone. Because this company solves problems for everybody from an individual agent to a team leader to a broker owner, and there's a lot of opportunity here for sure.
No doubt about it, my friend. I'm stoked to be working with you every day and be business partners with you at eXp, having a blast. And Albie, it's always great to talk to you, especially on Angelo's Pizza Friday. And I'm looking forward to our next get together. I guess in a few weeks we'll be together. I'm really kind of missing the Derby. I wish we were doing that trip, but we're being so we'll do. It'll be all right. So we'll be seeing each other soon. Appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching. Anybody who's watching, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys later.
Congratulations, Matt.
Thanks, man.
Congrats,
brother.
Appreciate all the help.
Yep.
Have a great weekend, guys.
All right, take care.